With Resident Evil Requiem coming out this coming February, I want to make some videos focusing on the creation and story of past Resident Evil games. Today I'll be going over the one that started it all with amazing voice acting and all. Originated by Tokiro Fujiwara, the director for games such as Ghosts and Goblins and Bionic Commandos, and helped in other ways with games like Strider and Mega Man, Fujiwara would also direct a horror RPG called Sweet Home, which was released for the Famicom in 1989 and was based on a Japanese horror film with the same name. It was a top-down horror game with huge emphasis on puzzle solving and survival. The game also takes place in a giant mansion. Even with the game being limited to Japan, it still had a pretty big cult fan base and is seen as a huge step forward for horror games. With the PS1 coming out, Fujiwara saw this as an opportunity to remake Sweet Home with graphical improvements and new features that were missing from the original Famicom version. So in 1993, they started development. Fujiwara would choose Shinji Mikami to be in charge of the direction for his new horror game. Fujiwara chose Mikami because he knew Mikami did not like to be scared, and Fujiwara thought this was a good idea because Mikami would know what was and wasn't scary. Sadly for Fujiwara, Capcom would end up losing the rights to Sweet Home, forcing the team to take everything they already did and come up with something completely original. And what we got from that was Resident Evil. Resident Evil was released in 1996 worldwide, but in Japan it was known as Biohazard due to the marketing team claiming it would be way too difficult to register the name Biohazard in the US. Like Sweet Home, Resident Evil was another huge leap when it came to horror games, with it coining the genre of survival horror. I think the best way to show you what that is to go over the gameplay. Resident Evil's gameplay focuses on resource management, exploring, and survival. As you explore the mansion, you'll run into many different types of enemies, like zombies, hunters, and snakes, and many more. And they are all bullet sponges, and ammo and heals are very scarce, so a lot of the time it's better to try to just move around them. That leads me to the next mechanic, the movement. Resident Evil uses a very special movement system referred to as tank controls, and if you don't know what they are, here's how it works. Pressing up on the D-pad will make you move forward, pushing down will make you move back, pressing left and right will make you rotate left or right. At first it might sound weird or hard to work with, but after a few hours, you'll be moving past zombies like nothing. This game also uses fixed camera angles, so you might hear an enemy, but not see them until you get too close. I personally don't mind it, but I know a lot of people don't really like them, but I think it helps a lot with the tension in the game. Next we'll go over the save system. Resident Evil uses a very unique system where you find single-use ink ribbons throughout the mansion, and you can use these ribbons to save at typewriters you'll find throughout the game. And these are very important because let's say you're playing for hours and you die without saving, you'll have to redo hours of gameplay. These typewriters will almost always be found in safe rooms. With typewriters, you'll also find a universal item box. With these you can put items in them in one room and pick them up in another, and this really helps with puzzle solving and item management. What a really nice, important game mechanic I'm sure all games in the franchise will keep. Speaking of puzzles, the main way to progress in the story is by solving simple but satisfying puzzles. Most of them are story progression, but there's some that will give you weapons or ammo, and some puzzles start to feel really repetitive because it's just pushing boxes or statues to get an item or traverse. The last thing I want to go over before we get to the story aspect is the character selection. Before you start the game, you're given the chance to play as Jill Valentine or Chris Redfield. No matter who you pick, both their stories ultimately play out the same. Picking Jill is like picking easy mode. You start with a lockpick and have 8 inventory slots, but less health. If you pick Chris, you have to find small keys to open most things Jill could just open with the lockpick. You also only have 6 inventory slots, so let's say you have your gun and your ammo, that only leaves you 4 slots to have heals and puzzle items. It's very annoying and can lead to a lot of backtracking. The only benefit to playing as Chris is just having more health. There's also some puzzles and boss fights that are just simply easier for Jill, like getting the shotgun. If you play as Chris, you have to find the broken shotgun and replace it with the working one before you can take it, or else you're trapped in the room. But for Jill, you can take it and Barry will open the door for you, and then he'll say one of the most iconic lines in the franchise.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
They also both go through the game differently. Chris will never run into Barry, instead he finds Rebecca, who isn't as helpful, but she's still there. It really is worth playing the game as both to see the differences. I think that's all the mechanics and features I want to go over. I think it's time that we can finally get into the story aspect of Resident Evil. The story starts with a live-action cinematic of the STARS Alpha team on the outskirts of Raccoon City, looking for the Bravo team when they stumble upon a helicopter with no signs of life. While one of the members is searching the area, they find a severed hand and is attacked by some mutant-looking dogs.
Joseph!
While the team is fending off the dogs, the pilot takes off, leaving Alpha Team to try to escape into a nearby mansion for safety, which ends up being very far from that.
Jill, run for that house! There are only 3 STARS members left now.
Resident Evil's story plays out almost any way you want. You do puzzles in any order to unlock crests, and while finding each crest you'll fight through zombies, crows, and a huge snake. After finding all 4 crests, you can access the garden, which will lead to the guardhouse, which is very similar to the mansion with its own set of puzzles and bosses. After being the main boss of the guardhouse, you run into Captain Wesker, who disappeared at the beginning of the story and is now acting pretty suspicious to say the least.
Wesker!
Chris, you're alive.
My words exactly. Where's Jill? Aren't you with Jill?
I'm sorry. We were attacked by a strange monster. I lost track of her while we were scouting around. I hope she's okay.
I see. Well, it's not your fault. This place is crazy. If we stay here, all of us will end up dead. What should we do, Wesker?
We have to complete this mission. Whether we escape or stay and look for Jill, we don't have many bullets left, and we can't even protect ourselves. We are still in trouble. Chris, there are a lot of locked rooms in that house. Check them out one more time. There must be a place to hide safely. I'll look around the house a little more.
Okay.
Let's get going.
Once you return to the mansion, you get a cutscene and learn that you were followed back by a new enemy type. The Hunter. These lizard-like beasts are more tankier and faster than normal zombies. They also have the possibility of one-shotting you. After using the key you got from the guardhouse to solve more puzzles and get some more key items that you can't seem to use just yet, you make your way to a secret cave system. The main enemy you'll be fighting here are hunters, so you better have a lot of ammo and the revolver. There's also a giant spider which can poison you if you're not careful. After exploring and finding more key items, you'll run into a member of the Bravo team, Enrico. He claims he's a traitor in STARS and is shot immediately after.
Enrico!
Don't come any closer, Chris.
Wait, what happened?
Double crosser!
Don't! Ah! Who is it? Is someone there? Double-crosser? What did he mean by that?
Once you leave the caves, you can now enter the final area of the game, the secret underground lab. In the lab, you'll find all the answers for any questions you've had up to this point. Most secrets were hidden in notes and diaries if you were reading them in the mansion, but down here you'll get every answer you need. In the lab, you'll run into new zombie types that if you kill them, will come back once you leave a room and re-enter. You'll also find my least favorite enemy type in the game called Chimeras. They're pretty small, with the speed and health of a hunter, and they can also climb to the ceiling and keep smacking you. In the basement, you'll find these consoles where you can use some of the discs that you've been finding but had no use for them up until this point. Once you use all 3 discs, you can find either Jill or Chris locked up in a cell, but you can't save them yet since the door is still locked. After exploring a little more, you'll find a projector that will tell you the name of each boss you fought through the game so far, and at the very end it will show you a group of scientists. In that picture, you will see your own team captain, Albert Wesker. After you activate the power and go even deeper into the basement, you'll be greeted by Wesker. Once you run into him, he'll spoil everything and say that he's been working with Umbrella and everything was done on purpose as a test to see the capabilities of the monsters they've been creating.
Chris, as my subordinate, you have wonderful talent.
I would never work for a company like Umbrella. And Wesker, you were formerly with Umbrella.
What do you mean?
Since when have you been an Umbrella agent? And a traitor to the stars?
Now you're wrong. I was formerly with Umbrella, yes. But now I'm prepared to face anything. Even getting rid of you vigilante stars.
Now, the worst possible situation has occurred. The failure of the experiment created a virus, a biological weapon, polluting the entire lab.
No, the worst happened with the Tyrant virus. I lost some of my STARS team members because of it.
You killed them with your own hands. Did you kill Enrico?
Really?
Yeah, like this.
Rebecca!
Don't move. If you do, I'll kill you. Chris, I have something to show you. Now, walk.
He walks you into another room for one more test, but before that, he makes sure we know he does not like being laughed at.
Chris? Stop it.
Wesker, you're pitiful.
Final test he has is called Tyrant, and after releasing it, it turns on him, impaling him through the chest, presumably killing him.
You too. What? Don't come this way! No!
You can't kill me.
After the fight, the self-destruct sequence goes off, meaning you better get to your partner and save them from the locked cell and get to the roof to signal for help. After setting off a flare, everything starts to shake and bursting through the floor comes Tyrant. It's time for round 2. This fight is a lot harder than the first one. Dealing more damage, he's faster and has a lot more health. Wesker would have loved to see him at full potential. After dealing enough damage, the helicopter arrives and drops a quad barrel rocket launcher. You shoot it at Tyrant, blowing him into a million bits, and you get out before the mansion explodes. On the helicopter, your team can finally rest after the longest night in hell ever. All of that and some I just didn't cover is fit into a 7 to 8 hour experience, and even more if you plan on playing as both Jill and Chris. I would say the game's pacing is almost perfect if it wasn't for the puzzles that feel like you're just moving boxes over and over. Everything just flows perfectly and it's very straightforward. Even if you don't play the game the way I explained it, it's very open to letting you play the way you want to play as long as you have the keys to do what you need to do. Now I would like to take a moment to appreciate the voice acting. If you know Resident Evil, you know how iconic some of these lines are.
Whoa! What is it?
What? Oh! Oh no!
What is it?
Maybe it's Chris. Now, Jill, can you go?
I'm going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know.
Okay.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
And don't even get me started with
Tyrant.
Wesker. Like, how are these the same characters?
Chris? Stop it.
Wesker, you're pitiful.
Ouroboros will be released into the atmosphere, ensuring complete global saturation.
Then there's the music, which is mostly really good and iconic, but then there's one song from the director's cut that could get its own video alone on how it was made. Whether you like this game or not, you can't deny without it, horror as a genre would not be the same. Games like Silent Hill, Dead Space, and Evil Within might not even exist. And hell, it has its own franchise that's been going on for 28 years. And I don't see it ending anytime soon. I plan on covering Resident Evil 2 and 3 after this at some point, but in the meantime, I recommend you play this game for yourself, whether it's with the PS1 version or playing the remake, which I can almost promise will get a video down the road. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this deep dive on Resident Evil.